Hello, I'm Song Chen. Regaining freedom might be a time when most prisoners look forward to, but life after prison sometimes does not turn out to be what they expect. That is exactly what one former inmate we talked to has found. His is a story about finding jobs, finding love, finding independence, and most of all, finding acceptance. So, is his experience and that of others like him the result of society's intolerance of people with a disgraceful past, or a lack of support for those who are trying to get back on their own 2 feet again?
His body is a work of art, but beneath the surface is a story of physical and emotional pain, and most of all, a disgraceful past.
Normally, it takes about 8 hours to have such tattoos inscribed, but I spent about 16 hours in doing so. Even though my right arm has seriously swollen at that time, the physical pain could not be compared to the heartbreak that I had.
Although his unpleasant past is engraved on his body, but his heart no longer suffers from his sorrows. Saikong has spent more than a third of his time in jail for drug possession and other crimes. When he regained his freedom, he wanted to find a job and start a new life. But repeated rejections were disappointing and discouraging.
I applied for jobs as a driver, a warehouse keeper, and even a cleaner. Sometimes I was rejected soon after I filled in the forms. Once I had 3 rejections in a day.
After spending more than 20 years in and out of prison, Saikong found it very difficult sustaining a job. 3 years ago, Saikong decided to take some training courses offered by the Society of Rehabilitation and Crime Prevention Hong Kong. Then he tried his luck at becoming a volunteer social worker.
When I applied to become a volunteer, I couldn't think of any skills I was good at. I didn't know how to use a computer, neither did I receive much education, but I could share my experience through some seminars.
At first he was overwhelmed by stage fright. He could only speak for 5 minutes at a time. But once he got used to it, his talks extended to 15 minutes, half an hour, and more recently, he spoke for an hour, way beyond the expectations of many social workers. Saikong said it wouldn't be possible without the help of the society staff, and he owes his thanks especially to Ms. Wong.
Not only did she give me the opportunity to share my experience with students, but she gave me the confidence by simply telling me I could.
Ms. Wong played a key role in helping Saikong becoming independent again. She recalls his hope and aspiration the first time she met him.
When I first met Saikong, I find him intelligent and optimistic, and gradually I learned that he has been trying to improve himself.
According to the Correctional Services Department, 2,278 inmates were released at the end of 2012. They were all under supervision after being freed. A survey conducted by the Society for Community Organization found that 2/3 of 78 ex-convicts they interviewed had difficulties getting a job, a place to live, or financial help of any kind. More than half of them said their criminal records made it tough for them to find work. Many had little qualifications and poor skills. More than 40% said their age was also an issue. Relationship with their families is also a problem. The relatives are often unwilling to give them support, both financially and psychologically. Some resort to crime again just to survive. That's exactly how Saikong became entangled in a vicious cycle of crime and prison. Gloria Yun of the Society of Rehabilitation and Crime Prevention has been helping a number of former inmates. She tutors them before they are released and then help them integrate back into the society. She says it is a long, hard road.
第一樣嘢就係返出嚟社會，首先要安頓自己嘅生活啦。咁因為
First, they have to settle into the community again. Many of them lost their job when they were sent to jail. So we have to find them a place to live and provide them with basic living expenses. When you are unemployed, it is difficult to start a new life and make new friends.
Dr. Shen Leung, who specializes in drug rehabilitation, teaches at the Social Work Department of the Hong Kong Baptist University. And she believes that discrimination still exists.
When you let people know that you are coming out from prison and you have served a prison term, I think other people will feel scared about you, you know.
Saikon says he cannot help but notice the fear within their eyes instead of discrimination. Sometimes people hesitate to sit next to him on public transportations once they see his tattoos. Dr. Leung thinks that there's still big stigma attached to ex-convicts, and that is the main reason of them being discriminated.
Once you are a criminal, you know, this stigma stick to it. I mean, what will the society sees you and what people think about you? You know, I mean, in general, they are labeled as dangerous, violent, right? This is why people tend to want to keep the prisoner in jail, you know, don't bother the society. So there's a big stigma attached to this criminal identity. You don't really want people to know this identity. So that's why they try to hide. And then not many people really willing to come out, you know, to speak out, you know, to fight for their own rights.
And Ms. Yun thinks that the training provided by the department is becoming more diversified and comprehensive.
The Correctional Service Department has been active doing rehabilitation work in the past 10 years. They not only punish the convicts but also educate them. The department has also followed up the rehabilitation progress, which is important to former prisoners. Now they allow some organizations to go inside the prison to provide service. About 80 organizations have been doing this. They not only train the convicts and provide consultancy, but also hold interest or recreational activities. Maybe you have also heard about us playing sports with them. Some prisons are not just jail because they can also have dining workshops. And this is important because the prisoners get to know some people and feel they are cared for and accepted. Moreover, there are also rehabilitation consultants to follow up and contact the convicts' relatives.
Another challenge in rehabilitation is the psychological aspect. Although ex-convicts might avoid pertaining to the mistakes they've made, but labeling or even prejudice from other people can undermine their determination.
In fact, a lot of times, people don't mind even they know their colleague used to be prisoner. But these former inmates are very sensitive about it, and how people see them is also important. Derogatory terms such as jailbirds are used less these days. The greatest obstacle for them is overcome their own perception of who they are.
Despite the challenges and discrimination, Saikon now has a new lease of life.
My past experience serves as a blessing, a message as well as a positive energy to others. I'm glad to share my personal experience, and by this, it reinforces my confidence. Even though I'm not skillful, once you are willing to take the first step, you can always seek help from the social workers and to make a little contribution to the society. Don't be ashamed of asking people's help. Don't resort to crimes again after you are free. There is an unspoken happiness in leading a normal and simple life.
No one would have imagined that someone like him could transform into such a helping angel. His kindness shone onto this little girl he just met at the park during our interview.